Let me pull the chat up. Just want to make sure you all see me. Do you see me? Please comment. I just got this awesome new mic stand. I'm sorry I started the intro earlier and it wasn't working. So, because I actually hadn't officially gone live. So I just want to make sure you all see me. Please comment. Let me know that you see me talking right now. We good? Good. Okay, cool. Sweet. So I just want to make some announcements tonight. Want to have fun on the live feed. Thank you. I just got this new mic set up. You know, when you guys let me know what I can change on the show, I take it into account. So someone told me I should get a suspension mic. So I ordered one, just set it up today and feeling pretty good about it. So yeah, I wasn't really planning on doing a live show today, but just a lot of things are happening and I just want to let you guys all know what's all going on here. I actually just got out of an amazing meeting with this organization called Hunger Aid, which I'm going to get into in a little bit. Also, let me know if the audio sounds good. I don't know what it sounds like on your end. I think I officially have learned how to do all this tech stuff now. All right, so the movie that I have been basically promoting the past week. I've been working on this movie for a very long time, and I talked about it in my last show, but I'll talk about it again. Basically, this movie is going to be called the Area 51 Special Report, and it's a mockumentary that I directed, produced, acted in, and scripted myself. Doc Skinner edited it, and yeah, with 1028 Productions. And that's kind of like going to be a comedy documentary type movie. So that's going to be really fun. There was some things I was going to change in it, but everyone's just telling me, you know what, just go ahead and put it out. So I think I'm just going to put it out. And I'm going to release that tomorrow night at 7 p.m. So make sure you're there for that. I'll actually post I'll get the premiere scheduled right after I get off here and make sure I get that going because oh, Renee, you've already seen it. That's awesome. But yeah, it's gonna be good. It's a lot. Everyone that was involved worked very hard on it. Basically, it's an adventure with my time traveling DJ friend Amanda Darling, and we go around the desert and basically in the southwest of the United States. We go through a few different areas and just we're in my lime green alien Jeep. If you guys don't know about my lime green alien Jeep, it's pretty cool. I just call it my alien Jeep, but it's like a bright lime green Jeep with like an alien head on the side. And I pretty much got it like right before the journey. And we go to Area 51. We do a report there. And then we go film Amanda Darling's music video. Amanda Darling, by the way, go check her out. I'll put her link, probably her Twitch live stream link in the description later on. But she's a time traveling DJ extraordinaire, really amazing chick. She actually performs all over festivals all around the world at like Glastonbury Music Festival and Tomorrowland and everywhere. And her thing is in her set, she goes like back in time to Egypt, or she'll take you forward in the future, and she'll pull up in a DeLorean before she goes to the clubs. It's really cool. But basically, she wanted me to be an alien queen with an elongated skull from Nibiru in her music video. So basically, we get a behind the scenes of the whole journey. Like, I film reports for Third Phase of Moon, we film our music video, but besides those two projects, there's this whole other project that we did, which was my mockumentary. And I actually didn't even officially plan on doing it until we started the journey. So that's going to be really fun. So I'm going to release that tomorrow, and I'm really excited about it. So make sure you guys are all there for that. Probably 7 p.m., I'm thinking. So that should be interesting. So yeah, and by the way, right now I'm just kind of going live as much as possible just to get the hang of things because I actually have a lot of interviews scheduled coming up. As I'm just starting the show, I'm releasing the movie tomorrow. And then I have a lot of interviews coming up ready to go. So those are going to be very interesting. Make sure you stay tuned for it. And I'll get into those in a minute here. But Hunger Aid. So Hunger Aid I just did a meeting with this group. So I've been working with this group for a long time, and basically they are a nonprofit organization. You can look it up, hungry8.com at the moment. But basically, it's this nonprofit organization that is coming together, and it's for like artists and the communities. So different artists are going to become. Originally, the plan was that these artists would be coming together and doing shows in different communities, and it'd be like a thing that would be happening around the country. So every show that would be put on would basically feed the homeless in those areas, give blankets, etc. And I actually did a lot of work with the guy who runs this, Joey Platinum, who I'll be interviewing soon. And basically, what we did before was we went to San Diego, passed out blankets and passed out food, and it was a really good time. So he really had been getting this together for a while with a bunch of artists and amazing people on board, and we were all planning on throwing these shows around the country. And if you guys don't know this, I'm actually in a band, and my band was planning on performing for them. So uh yeah, COVID hit, but quote unquote. But besides that, we're just kind of planning on getting this together anyway and doing some virtual events in the meantime till everything opens back up again. Oh wow, this light's really bright. Let me turn it down a little bit. I just look so white. I guess my skin is just that white. And feel free to play around the chat. I like when you guys comment. We have some fun, so feel free to comment in the chat. But yeah, so Hungerade, we just did about a 2-hour meeting with everyone that's on board, and we decided we want to do a little virtual festival. And we're not really sure exactly the logistics on that because normally with these events, we would be throwing them for the different areas around the country. And then the different areas around the country, each event would be all the proceeds would be going to the people in poverty in that specific area. But because this is going to be a live virtual event and it's going to involve artists from all over the country and possibly the world, we're thinking about how we can split into chapters and how these different chapters to handle for each. So each artist would kind of handle each chapter and promote for their area. And once we do the live event, we will be feeding the homeless with different organizations in this different specific areas. So all the proceeds from the virtual event will be split into these chapters. So that should be very interesting. I'm excited for that. And that will be happening a little after January. So January, the whole entire organization will be fully put together. Right now it's in the workings. But actually, we had started getting things together for years back. I'm like one of the first people that was a part of the organization. And we just did some events without even having the nonprofit set up yet. But it will be set up by January, and we'll be playing the virtual event after that. So I'm just really excited about that. And, I'm excited to get people involved with that. We're bringing different celebrities on board with it. We're just in a meeting with some of them earlier tonight. And it's going to be fun, especially right now with what's going on in the world right now. It's just like, it's even harder on people right now with everything going on. So it's really people need it more than ever. And then it's harder than before to come together to help people because you can't really come together. So once we get all this up and running and the logistics of it figured out, I'm going to start bringing different people that are going to be a part of this event on this show. We'll probably be involved in shows with them. And once that event starts going, I'll definitely probably be filming stuff for my show with that. Okay, my spear store. Let me talk about my spear store. Yep. Yes, Kimberly. Unfortunately, it is a growing need, especially now. And like I said, it's even harder to come together to help with the situations right now because you're not allowed to come together. So we're going to figure out how to do this because it's even more of a need now than it was before, unfortunately. So my spear store, I just wanted to make an announcement on that. Basically sold out of most of my stuff again already. Really need to work on new spears, but I've been going live every day, so I'm probably gonna start. I have a new set of them I'm working on, but it's like I kind of work on a batch of them at once. So I'll make like 30 at once, and I kind of go through a certain steps at a time with all of them together. So I mean, usually takes about a week, but I do have a few, like 3 Hollywood ones left. The Hollywood ones are actually made out of wood of holly, and I carved them all myself. And I carved runes into them. Not just runes, but runic combinations, which are very interesting. But druids, they actually use wood of holly for their wands that they made. It was like their wood of choice. Apparently, because I was told on an earlier show that I did, the reason for that being that basically holly is the only kind of tree that would be alive and be like continuously bearing fruit all winter. So that's really interesting. And someone gave me a bunch of these, so I made them a while back. So those are on my store right now. This is my only mid-sized spear that's on my store right now. So if you want it, it's the only like kind of normal sized one left. It's in the Apocalypse collection. Apparently people don't like pink very much. But if you have a little girl or, you know, little daughter in your family or niece, she might like it, I guess. And then I have the very large staff size ones. I have 2 of those left. Those are like, you know, they're like 5-6 feet tall, so they're like a staff that you can like hold to like walk in the woods with, and they make you feel like a warrior queen. I'm sorry, I feel like this is just so off center. I don't know, it's like bothering me. Here, let me see. Alright, that looks a little better. Sorry about that. Yeah, you know, the next collection, Ella. Oh, you ordered a spear. Okay. But yeah, my next collection is going to be called the Pantheon Collection. I'm actually painting all the staffs gold. And I'm doing something a little different with the grips instead of it just being fur. Because the fur kind of gets like, you know, it's just like when your hand is sweating, you're holding it. Sometimes the fur will get kind of weird. So I'm actually going to make faux leather grips with like fur coming out the sides on for like the middle part on the next batch. So but like I said, that will take a while to get together. So yeah, let me see here. Oh, okay. Oh, and also I just got a new shipping label printer, so that's made things a lot easier for shipping things out, which is amazing. Has my band ever played in San Francisco? Oh, someone just said earthquake. I actually my room, this area right here is above the garage in my hillside house. So unfortunately, it sounds like there's an earthquake every once in a while. But anyway, my band has never played in San Francisco. I don't know why that is, but I've certainly had some good times in San Francisco. Hopefully in the future, things will open back up again and I can do that. Okay, so I wanted to talk a little bit about how all my shows are going to interrelate because I'm just starting this show. It's a lot of people have been asking me, they're like, oh, well, your niche is like the UFO thing, right? But then like a lot of the people that I've set up for the next couple of weeks are basically all kind of more like spiritual speakers. So I just wanted to say that for me, the way all my shows are going to interrelate is that basically to me, ETs, like having full disclosure, bring about full disclosure. I feel like the only way that's going to happen is if we all shift consciously and collectively, and if we all just start realizing our abilities as humans. So I really think that the spiritual aspect of things is very important in the disclosure movement. A lot of people like to dismiss that in the UFO disclosure community. They like to only look at the sort of technological side of things, like, you know, backwards engineered craft and Area 51 and things like that. But to me, what's important is I feel like the reason why we haven't really had disclosure, why ETs aren't already like showing themselves to us or coming among us is because we haven't really shifted consciously to a level where we're able to be with them. So I just think that's really important. So to me, like a lot of my channel, I'm gonna have a lot of people on within the next couple weeks that are sort of people that are kind of teach spiritual growth in like different areas of studies. Because, like I said, to me, that's an important connection there. I think growing yourself as a person and, you know, learning these different techniques to because humans are just so powerful, and I've said this on many different shows recently. I feel like humans are more powerful than we realize. I think that we have a lot of abilities that we haven't collectively tapped into yet that we may have had at other times, ancient civilizations in the past. So I think it's important that we start learning how to tap into our abilities, and that's my reason for bringing on these amazing speakers, which I have lined up the next couple weeks. And I just started kind of lining everyone up last night. I think I'm just going to be doing this show almost every day because I'm trying to get my watch hours up there. I have enough subscribers now to really fund this and get it going, but I do need quite a few more watch hours. But I'm just going all in. Oh, Laura Eisenhower, she will be on my show. We just talked. She wants to be on next week or maybe this weekend. No, I think she said next week or next weekend. So that will definitely be happening. And let me see here. I'm going to just talk about some upcoming episodes. Oh, before I get into the people I'm having on my show, I'm actually going to be on Beyond Mystic with Jean-Claude doing a series. I was on his show, was it a few nights ago? And it was really incredible, by the way, so definitely check that out. He saw me on Carrie Cassidy's Project Camelot and ended up emailing me, connecting with me, and brought me on his show. And we really I honestly think that's probably one of my favorite interviews yet. So definitely check that out, Beyond Mystic. Subscribe to him on YouTube. So we have a series on goddess archetypes. So that's going to be very interesting. This was his idea. He brought that to me because our whole conversation on our interview the other day just kind of kept going to that. And that's something that's very important to me is archetypes, because I feel like we all kind of, we all have these archetypes within us. It's a part of the collective consciousness. And I think it's really interesting to learn how to play with those and realize which ones you fall into, which ones represent you. So that's definitely something that's going to be interesting. So our first episode will be on December 10th. And so Beyond Mystic on December 10th. Make sure you check that out. I will get into the time with that later. I'm not sure if I have that written down yet. But yeah, Beyond Mystic on September 10th. That's going to be super cool. And that's going to be just kind of a general about the whole series that we're going to be getting into. So, and I already have a very expansive knowledge on this topic of goddess archetypes, but I'm going to delve much more into it, get into my research with it. A lot of times, actually, my way, I read a lot. That's a lot of my research is I'm reading constantly all the time, but I do have a lot of work to do with my shaman spears. So because of that, oh, John's on here. Cool. Yeah, it's going to be awesome. But yeah, so I think the way that I'm going to be getting into that is I'm probably just going to start watching a lot of documentaries while I make my spears. That way I can get my new collection ready, get work done, and get the research in for this as well. So I'm excited for it. But yeah, before I get into all that, or before watching that show, I would definitely recommend the book The Goddess in You. That's one of the things that really inspired me with this whole topic, because this book, it's like, there's actually I actually found it at a Goodwill bookstore, like right when I moved out to LA. I wasn't really making a lot of money, so it wasn't, I didn't have a whole lot going on. I was trying to get into the entertainment industry, and I was only like 19, 20 years old. So I had this Goodwill bookstore that was like right next to me in Woodland Hills at the time, and I would just walk over there all the time and go to the New Age section and buy really cool books. And I found this one there. It's called The Goddess in You, and it has like these little a test in it where it's like a multiple choice like test, and you can figure out which goddess you kind of fit the most with. But it's only like the Greek kind of gods and goddesses, so that's a little different. But yeah, like I said, it's interesting to play with, and I'm definitely excited to be doing that series. It's gonna be really cool. It's gonna be amazing. So but yeah, like I said, the first episode is gonna be a general, like we're gonna talk about the series, and then we'll kind of delve into specific archetypes after that with the series. So that's gonna be interesting. So upcoming shows. Let me see here. Got my schedule here. So tomorrow, like I said, tomorrow I'm gonna be premiering my movie at 7 p.m. So that's gonna be really cool. Make sure you're there for that because everyone involved, they worked very hard on it. And it's a whole feature-length film, 60 minutes long. And it's just a really funny adventure. It shows a little bit about my comedic side and my adventure side. I'm definitely that's something I'm gonna be doing regularly with the shows. I'm always just going on adventures, so I'm gonna like do my best to record all the adventures I'm on, and maybe even do live stuff during the adventures. But yeah, I mean, like I said, I'm always going to very interesting places and events, and really would like to just bring you guys with me. So we're gonna see how that all works out. So yeah, that'll be like kind of a preview into what's to come, I guess. So my first interview is with Jason Tarot Wizard. He's he's a wizard in LA. That's what he is. He's a wizard. He has a long white beard, very interesting person. He like professionally, he does past life regressions. I think he does some sort of hypnosis techniques for people, and he does tarot. And I'm not sure what else he does. There's probably a long list of things, but those are the main things that I know of. I've actually known him for quite a while. I've been at different events selling spears while he was reading tarot with them. Because normally, before I got into selling my spears in the UFO conference circuits, like normally I'm speaking and selling my spears at UFO conferences around the world. But before I got into that, I was kind of selling my spears at these like underground, like Burning Man type events in the LA area. So that's how I met him. Or I say Burning Man, but it's more like, the spiritual groups in Burning Man. There's all these different like camps that are like kind of spiritual camps. And that's where I kind of got into selling my spears. I started doing it at those events like all night. And so that's where I met him. And I think he's just a very interesting person to talk to. He did a very interesting regression on me, like right around when the pandemic hit, which I talked about in the last episode. So, or my last live show. So, yeah, that was very interesting. And I'm going to have him on tomorrow. So I'm excited. Oh, no, not tomorrow, Saturday. And that'll be at 7 p.m. on Saturday. So I'm excited about that. I haven't really hosted my own live interview yet. I'm always on other people's interviews. So we'll see how that works out. I think I got it though. I'm gonna get it together, so I'm excited. The following evening, I'm gonna have Ariane Labyrinth on. She is a very powerful woman. I've known her probably about the same amount of time as I've known Jason here in LA, and she's just. If you haven't read what is it? Mists of Avalon. I don't know if anyone's read or seen the Mists of Avalon. It's kind of like about the story of King Arthur, but from like all the women's perspective in the story. And by the way, I'm going to get into that. My next live show, I'm probably going to be doing a book review, which will be on powerful women in history, and then fictional stories of powerful women in history. So I'm going to be like reviewing a few different books during that show, and I'm excited about that. But she's a lot like the high priestess in that story. That's just what she reminds me of. And I'm really excited to have her on. She was my first meditation coach. I say that because she does this very interesting technique where basically she'll have everyone in a circle, and it's called open eye meditation. So if you haven't done that before, it's this technique where it's left eye to left eye. So you're looking straight into the other person's eyes. But when we're all in a circle doing it in a class, it's like everyone in the class is looking from their left eye into her left eye. And then she'll kind of like rotate between every person. But yeah, that's very interesting technique because instead of just kind of letting your mind go wherever, that's kind of like it actually I feel like works better because you're focusing your vision and then you're letting it yourself kind of tap into it and you're seeing the way the energy is flowing around you. And man, when you do it with her, I kid you not, I have done this before with her one-on-one where we actually saw her past lives. I saw her look like an early human kind of I guess like a hominid, you would say. So that was very, very interesting. And then oh, it was not her, but someone else, the other person I did this technique with. I saw him change into a gray at one point, and then I saw like other past lives. It's like so you're like looking right into the person's eye. You can like see them like shift. It's almost like a time warp. You can feel like this time like kind of I don't know, shifting around you, and then you just kind of feel these different shifts in like the different layers, and it's just very, very interesting. And like I said, she's probably the most spiritually powerful person I've ever met, or one of them. So I'm excited to have her on. And besides that, she also runs these incredible classes where she they're called dance alchemy. So basically she shows you how to move energy through dance. So at the beginning of the class we'll actually kind of do the open eye meditation and tap into it, and then later on we start moving energy through dance, and she has all these different techniques of doing it. And she was actually it was her events where she has all these people on performing. No, I don't do drugs during meditation. Thanks, George. But yeah, no, that's what's crazy about it. I mean, her technique is so powerful. I mean, it's literally like it takes you on a trip, like beyond anything you could ever imagine. And it's very amazing. But yeah, her events where she performs, she has the dance troupe that she teaches these lessons to perform at these events, and they're very like kind of like spiritual events that usually happened once a month before everything started happening. Yeah, Kimberly, it's definitely a very amazing feeling being in those classes, and she's going to be talking all about it. I think she has some classes coming up where she's going to start doing this virtually. As you know, here in LA we have full on lockdown, even though everyone's still driving around, whatever. But yeah, so she's gonna be doing a virtual class on that. So that's another reason why I'm having her on. I'm gonna let her talk about that. And if you want to learn more from her, she will definitely show you. And I like I said, I recommend her 100%. She's like one of the best meditation teachers or spiritual teachers out there. So who else did I have ready to go here? I guess I didn't. I don't have like anyone specifically written down yet. But another person I talked to, Andre Knight and his girlfriend Oksana, they together do a lot of like tantra classes with different people, and they are just very, very tapped in. I've known them both all for the same amount of time as these other people I just mentioned, and they're just really, really amazing people that are just Andre and I think I guess he's probably descended from some nice Templar kind of people, and that's just going to be very interesting. So he just has a lot to talk about. Oh, and what we were planning on talking about with that show, since it'll be around the holidays, we're thinking about setting it around December 19th. So on that show, he's going to be talking about basically like the spiritual side of the holidays, and I guess I'll get more into that later. But it's going to be kind of delving into the Magdalene archetype and just the different symbolism in the holidays. So that's going to be very interesting, and I'll let you guys know when that date is. All these people I'm mentioning too, I think I'm going to schedule all these shows and get the live links up and ready to go so that you guys know when they'll be happening. So yeah, It's all been a learning process. I think it's a major learning curve, that's for sure. But once I have it down, I guess should be easy. So, and by the way, like, once I get in the flow of this, I have a book I'm planning on writing, and I'm excited about that. I already pretty much have the layout for it. So, once I get in the flow of all this, I'm going to start setting some time aside for myself to start writing. It's actually been really crazy because I've been, going through the learning curve with everything here. And then, I've been getting all these spear sales out of nowhere, and it's just been a lot at once. It's been really crazy, but I'm not complaining. I love it. It's good problems to have. So it's really exciting. And normally I was acting a lot, and I really I feel like I want to make this the most important thing. I could be booking more work with acting, but I kind of feel like this is so important right now that I should probably just put all my time into it to get it going. Sorry, let me take a drink here. Thanks, Renee, for providing all these live links. So amazing. Yeah, I definitely need to get some more merch, get some shirts made, things like that. I'm thinking I'm gonna do a Patreon show too, just because I can't get as deep into things politically, and mostly politically, because I want to keep my platform here. So Beyond Mystic with Jean-Claude, I was on with him for a few nights ago. He does this thing where after his main YouTube show, he'll go straight into Patreon and bring the interview over to Patreon, and then they go deeper there. And he suggested I do that too. And I was kind of sad that I couldn't get as deep into things as I would like to on this platform. So I'm thinking I'm going to be doing that there. But I think I want to build this up a little more first. I do have a Patreon. It's just, I don't know. I think it's just Apolla Asteria. Look it up. I haven't looked at it in a while, but I got to definitely start getting that going and providing the link in here. And pretty soon here, once I get into a flow with all this and have more people on board, I'm going to start doing the extended shows on there. And I'll make sure I go a little deeper into those shows on a platform where I will be able to actually do that. So sorry about that. Yeah, censorship is totally a bitch. I don't know. Can I say that on here? Is it okay to say bad words on here? I don't really know. Oh, okay. There was a third monolith that was found in California. I'm gonna try something out here with you guys. I'm gonna see if I can do a little screen share and show you guys the article just to test it out. Okay, let's see how that goes. Here, let me do this. Do this, and then screen share. Allow. Okay, I don't know. Maybe it's not working right. Let me see. It's loading. Okay. I don't know. Can you guys see that? I don't know. I can't get this to work. I'll have to have someone. Sorry, guys. I'll have to have someone go over this with me. You guys don't see my screen on the chat right now, do you? Yeah, I'm just gonna do that some other time. Learning process. Sorry, guys. I need to figure out how to do this. I'll have someone show me how to do this screen share thing. Man, a lot of my other friends that have these amazing YouTube shows, they have a whole team of people to do all the tech stuff for them. Wish I had that. But it's okay. I'll learn everything myself, and I'll be a one-woman show. And yeah, power to me. Anyway, so there's a third monolith that was found. I guess I can look at it myself. In California. Where is it at? So that's the third one. There was a second one in Romania. And it's like, what is going on here? I mean, I honestly, I've heard from several different people that it's just just an art installation. But I mean, it's just so weird. It's like, who is doing this? I mean, whoever's doing it, if it's an art installation, like we all believe it is. I mean, this guy is just, or girl, it might be a girl. Whoever's doing this is just definitely getting what they wanted out of it. I mean, they are causing just a scene with all this. It's wow, really insane. So I basically just wanted to do some announcements tonight. You know, I've been doing a lot today, and I want to test out my new mic and say hi to everyone. So I decided, just for fun, before I wrap up this show, I'm a huge reader of the I Ching. I really like this technique of divination. I don't know if anyone here has done anything with that before, but the I Ching is super amazing. And basically, it's like this Chinese divination technique. The person that wrote this, I think it's very ancient. I should know the actual facts of it a little better, but I mean, the person that wrote this wrote it like, you know, thousands of years, I think a couple thousand years ago, or something like that. I always like doing a technique where, with this Celtic divination technique, where I would flip these three pennies or these pennies, and it would show you, it would take you to a different page with the different combinations. And I lost the book, and I was really sad about it. And then a friend of mine told me, he was like, "Hey, have you ever checked out the I Ching?" And he showed it to me at a conference, and he was like, "Make sure you get this one, because this one, I guess there's a lot of different I Ching books that you can do this with, but this one was his favorite." But he told me to make sure to get this part and cut it out and turn it around. So I don't know why he told me this, but apparently it wasn't facing the right direction. So I don't know. I just did what he said. I cut it out and I turned it around. Apparently it is better the other way. So you know, I think I'm going to do a reading for the world. What do you guys think about that? What if I do a reading for like the whole world? Oh, someone said earlier about the monolith that it was Banksy. I actually just saw a documentary on Banksy, and that guy is crazy. I mean, if you haven't read about Banksy or seen what he's done, I mean, this artist is a gangster. No one knows really who he is, but he'll just you know, just post these art installations in like the craziest places. One time he actually went to a museum, I think it was the Louvre, and left one of his art installations. Somehow got past security and left it in there. And then another one was like this celebrity, like elite, like art auction in New York. And as soon as someone bought his painting, there was this thing where as soon as it was purchased, it went through a shredder and shredded. And the person that bought was like, "What the heck?" It was set on a timer or something. So it was like, as soon as it was bought at the auction, it just shredded itself. And the guy that bought this, or whoever bought it, was freaking out. But actually, because that happened, it made it worth way more. So I wouldn't be surprised if this was Banksy, or maybe someone was just inspired by Banksy's story and did something like that. So yeah. Or maybe it was aliens. I mean, you know? As someone said it was an art installation, I mean, I wouldn't put it past aliens to leave an art installation. Like, maybe aliens are into art too, you know? So yeah, so let's get back to the I Ching. Yeah, so I really just love doing readings with this. It's different than, you know, a lot of people like to do tarot, but for me, this just gets very descriptive, and it's very interesting because it has these different ways of talking about things, like in your consciousness. Like, it'll mention the inferiors, which are just the kind of monkey brain stuff that's always talking in your head. It's like the ego mind, you know. And then it talks about the sage, which is kind of like your higher self. Like, so when it mentions that, it's like your higher self, or tapping into that side of yourself. So yeah, very interesting. So I'm just gonna do one right here for the world, for a general what's going on in the world right now. So it's a very interesting technique what we do here. Let me see if I can flip my camera here. So what you do with it, let me flip to this page. At the back of the book, it shows so there's different combinations. It's like 2 heads and 1 tail, or 3 heads or 3 tails. They all kind of mean different things. It's either a straight line, or a full line, or a broken line. So and then it ends up becoming, once it's done, it'll end up being these things that are called trigrams, which are, sorry, they're like these kind of like stacked lines, and they'll be stacked in like different ways. Like, let me show you another example here. So yeah, and then it gets very descriptive, because it will just like, it's really insane. It's like every time I do this, it just really gives me the proper advice for the situation at the time. And it is never off. It's always completely 100% on. So I'm going to try this out here. So this is just a general what the world needs right now. Like, what advice do we need collectively as a human race? That's what I'm asking. How does that sound? Does that sound good, you guys? Yeah. So this is just going to be advice for the collective. Let's see what we get here. So I had to flip all three of these at the same time 6 times. So so I just got 2 tails, 1 head. So that is a straight line. Let's do this again. 2 tails, 1 head again. And it starts from the bottom up. That's how that works. I just like do this for like everyone around me, by the way, too. I try not to do it too much. It's just whenever the situation requires. Sorry, this is awkward. Let me just, I wish I had a flatter area here. Okay, 2 heads, 1 tail. So that's a broken line. And all these different trigrams, they represent basically different things in nature. Like there's lake, water, fire, etc. So this one's 2 tails, 1 head. There's a straight line, not broken. So that's our 4th time. Now we just need to do 2 more times. 2 tails, 1 head. There's a straight line, not broken. And 1 more time. Two heads, 1 tail. There's a broken line. Normally with these you get extra messages, but for some reason this time we didn't get any extra messages. So I guess this is just one specific message for the human race as a collective. So I'm gonna write this right now. Humanity advice. This is so interesting. I haven't done this for the whole collective yet. I'll just write, yeah, collective. Was it December? Okay. All right. Yeah, this is interesting. I don't know. Oh, so the author of this book, someone just asked, Carol K. Anthony. But this is a revised edition. I should know who actually wrote the I Ching. I mean, it's like thousands of years old. The way I think the original technique for using it was they would draw straws, or Yeah, I don't. There was some ancient technique of doing those a little different. Oh yeah, so here's like, let me just kind of talk about some descriptions with this. Okay, so the sovereign stands for ourself, to mean the superior man is our essential self, and ourselves to mean the inferiors bodily or emotional self, whether they are taken in combination with inferior man, ego self, self-image, or not. So yeah. So basically, like, the inferiors are like your emotional, like your ego self, your self-image. Whereas the sage, which you'll talk about in here, is just kind of like your soul self. And inner truth, it talks a lot about inner truth and inner independence. I really like that. And like I said, it's really the best advice. I swear, it's always has the best advice. So let's see what we got here. This is what the trigram looks like. So it's actually the same one. So the bottom three is the first trigram. So you read it from the bottom up. So the bottom three is the bottom trigram, and the top three is the upper trigram. So these are actually both the same trigram, and then together it makes a hexagram. So let me see here. So we got Tui over Tui. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. I'm sorry, I'm not Chinese. Let's see here. So you go to the back. See how we can get this blown out. Okay. So you go to the back, and this is Tui on the end, and this is Tui on the end, and then you kind of go to where. So it's going to be 58. That's what we got. So this is the reading for the collective right now. I'm not sure what Tui means. I used to have this, I'll show it when I flip to the page, but I used to have something that my friend had drawn out that translated everything into English, and I don't unfortunately have that anymore. I lost it somewhere recently. So now you just flip to hexagram 58 after you find it in the combination. So, like I said, this is the advice for the collective. So just all of us as a human race, collectively, the advice we need right now. Okay, so this is what we got here. This actually seems very positive. It's called the Joyous. And we didn't get any extra messages. Sorry. This is so awkward. Okay. Yeah, the Joyous. So, through wanting, we waver. Put this aside. If anyone can look up Tui and let me know what the Chinese or the English translation for that is, that'd be great. Because I just don't have it right here. It's TUI. I just want to know like what that represents. But okay, I'm gonna read this here. So this is my reading for the collective right now. What we need as a collective human race. This hexagram refers to the difference between true freedom and detachment, and apparent freedom and the bravado of careless indifference, self-importance, and arrogant self-confidence. The image of the placid, unruffled surface of the lake symbolizes true joy, as serenity that arises from the sublime source. Even the slightest wrinkle of the brow, like the ripple in the lake, indicates the presence of an emotion that, if it is to continue, will cause turmoil in which true joy disappears. The crucial moment that leads away from serenity and inner independence is the moment of wavering. When we begin to listen to seductive fantasies put forward by our ego. These seductive images cause us to want, wonder, or worry, and thus lose the leadership of our superior self. The first moment of wavering is often only a vague, discontented mood. Next, we hear our whining inferiors saying such things as, "Nothing works." Wavering is already progressing unchecked towards the next stage of discontent, in which leadership of the ego is reestablished. Under its leadership, we are no longer sensitive to our inner voice. Next, we start to be indifferent to our path as we proceed to an active disbelief. Disbelief, in turn, conjures up alternate courses of action so that we begin to pursue pleasure, comfort, and self aggrandizement. Doing this creates self conflict, then doubt, when we feel as a gnawing hole in the chest or abdomen. The chief sign of one who feels hopeless is his striving to force happiness or success. Because this leads only in disappointment, he attempts by conniving to seal it. This failing, he ceases to care and pursues pleasure in a contrived indifference. Contrived indifference becomes vengeful indifference if or when he seeks to punish those he blames for his disappointment. Neither true joy nor true pleasure can be found by pursuing joy, pleasure, or success as things in themselves. The hexagram counsels us to pay attention to times when we become seduced by the notion that the pursuit of these things will lead to happiness. It also counsels us not to adopt contrived attitudes simply because they worked before. All contrived approaches or attitudes are based on small but powerful doubts, but forward by our ego. Doubts that enable it to retain command. The I Ching always counsels us to keep open, neutral, and unstructured in our attitude. The basis for true joy is inner independence, a stability created through accepting life as it is, and through accepting each new moment without inner resistance. Acceptance is achieved through imposing discipline on our whining inferiors, aka the ego mind, and through encouraging them to be patient. We need to remain unstructured, willing to be led. If we entertain, doubt, argue with fate, or think of ways to evade this discipline, we lose our inner equilibrium and direction by the true self. If we allow our ego to long for the soft and comfortable path, it will then begin to seek ways to shortcut the necessary steps that lead to our goals. This takeover by the ego creates self-conflict. The quietness of the shining lake is disturbed. In all these activities, the ego secretly insinuates doubts into our inner ear. By keeping aware that it is behind these activities, we deprave it of its power. When we see that we are wavering or wanting, we should return to acceptance. In freeing ourselves from wanting, we return to harmony with the cosmos. Wow. Two people attain true joy only when both are sincere. And I think when I say two, I'm gonna mean the collective. So everyone as a collective attains true joy only when we are all sincere and trying to keep correct within ourselves. Wow. So if you think about that, translate into a way of the collective, it's basically saying if we were all to attain true joy, or I think I would take that to mean, an ascended consciousness, we all had to be sincere in trying to keep correct within ourselves. Our independence searches for the truth within ourselves as inexhaustible well springs, supporting each other and nourishing everyone within the collective. Wow. So that was it. A lot of times there'll be asterisks next to the different lines, and that's an extra message, and that comes with a different combination of the coin flips, but we didn't get any of those. So this was just all one message, and man, I don't know if anyone has any idea of, what they think about all this. But like I said, the general message here is with wanting we waver. So it seemed to talk a lot about basically just getting past our ego. So I think at this time in humanity, it's like, there's like, I think like the powers that be, these people that are just trying to have all the money and control all the money and control the entire world. It's like they have this addiction to having more and more and more and more. And it's like, when are they going to stop? Like, do they need to be trillionaires? How many castles do they need? And it just, it's like a sickness. And, in the human race, there's these people, they have this sort of sickness, and it's like an addiction. And and it starts with every single one of us, like every individual person. We all had to work on ourselves. And it's a process, and a daily process. And I think this really described everything perfectly. It seems to me it's all about the ego. We all need to get past our egos and let go of our ego selves. I want to just read this last line again, because I really feel like that was what it was all about. But like I said, it mostly talks about the ego and success. It's like we're all trying to outdo each other and succeed. And really, what it seems to be saying is just accepting and letting ourselves be our true selves, and, be our best, basically fulfill our purpose as what each of us need to be doing for the collective. Because obviously we all came here for a purpose. We're all here to do what we need to be doing. And I actually have this astrologer, not a friend, but an astrologer I always watch. I say she's not a friend because I don't know her yet, but I've been watching her for years. And she always says, if you aren't doing what's right for you, you aren't doing what's right for anyone else. And I always love that. It's like, that just goes to show, it's like, don't ever do something that's not right for you. Like, a lot of people, they'll just kind of almost make these what's the word I'm looking for? It's like they'll hold themselves back to and do like a job that they don't like, or do something that just doesn't feel right to them, just because they think that they need settle. It's like they think they need to settle for something that basically isn't right for them, just because they think that they need it to make money or whatever. And I really feel like the whole idea of do what you love and the money will follow, I really think that's true. And I'll say that with myself, because that's happened to me with myself lately. I've been building a platform for a long time with what I'm doing, and with my spears. And I started making my spears, and I wasn't really selling any right away. And I had like no money when I started making them. I wasn't really, I just moved out here from Illinois, and it took me a while to even really start making money with the business. And for the idea to catch on with different events and things like that. And so that's why I'm just giving an example of, it took me a while, but I kept putting everything into it because I just felt like that was what was right for me, with my speaking UFO conference circuit and making my spears. And even as an actor and entertainer, I just always knew that that's what I needed to be doing. I just, that's what makes me happy. So I put all my time and energy into that, and it ended up coming out eventually. And, I'm not saying like, every person is going to be an actor or entertainer or whatever. It's like we all have our own like purposes here, and whatever makes you come alive, whether maybe like you want to be a scientist, you really like creating things, or, that's something that's very important right now, or, being a counselor or a spiritual teacher. We all have our own purpose, and I think it's really important. Like I said earlier, if you aren't doing what's right for you, you aren't doing what's right for anyone else. And I really feel like that's kind of the main topic of all of this. It's like, let go of your ego and your inferiors. Things in the back of your mind, they're like, oh, you shouldn't be doing this, or blah blah blah. Just like all this like monkey brain like chatter in the back of your mind. Just let go of all that and just tap into the feeling. What feels right to you? What do you know, your inner knowing, that you should be doing? So that's really what I feel like is most important. And yeah, And I'll say it again one more time. If you aren't doing what's right for you, you aren't doing what's right for anyone else. So just keep that in mind. And I really feel like that's probably a lot of what goes into this shift, the human collective consciousness shift. I think that's a major key to it, is that we all just need to fall into doing what is best for ourselves and what is best for humanity. And it talks about, this is actually the joyous. It's entitled The Joyous. So that's really interesting. And it says, and then the main thing it says, through wanting we waver. So basically it's saying that through wanting, like, all of us as a collective, like I was mentioning earlier, these people with like 20 castles, and it's like through wanting and wanting more and more and more, you're never going to get joy. Those people don't have joy. Those are probably the saddest people on earth, honestly. I've actually seen different documentaries before where there's people in third world countries where I actually saw this talk with this guy one time. He lived in a third world country and then he moved to America, and he was like, it's crazy. Like, I back in, my other country, um I didn't have much. I didn't have freedom, but I had all this time with my family. And here in America, it's like we work so hard that we don't have time, and we have freedom, I guess, technically, but you work so hard for it, so it's like, why just be a slave to the system when you can just work for yourself and do your purpose, do what you think is right and what best serves you and what best serves the collective. I think that's what's most important. And if we're all doing that, think about how that will shift everything. Like, everything on the earth would completely change if we all just did that, And so, I mean, that's just really key right there. And so, yeah. And like I was saying, it's like a lot of people in these third world countries, a lot of them are probably happier than a lot of us, like here in America and everything, because it's like, we spend all of our time being slaves to the system. It's like, why not just, and that's what's interesting about what's going on in the world right now. It's like we have this time of isolation, we have time to look into ourselves. And I think that also relates to the collective. It's like, it's not just like, some of us in certain areas, but as a collective, we're all given this period to look within ourselves and realize also as a collective what we can change on this planet. Like, what can we do with our systems, whether it's like government, education, all the systems that are in place right now, they obviously need a reworking. And I think now is really a time to do that. And these different I guess MSM, they keep talking about this great reset. We don't need to make it happen the way they want it to happen. We can have it in our own way. And it, like I said, I think it takes every one of us doing our part, doing what is best for us and being sovereign individuals, but also doing what serves us and what best serves the collective. So yeah, I just want to read this last part again. In freeing ourselves from wanting, we return to harmony with the cosmos. So it's really saying, it's like, okay, instead of wanting, just really feel into what it is that you feel is right, what your purpose is. And once you let go of all that, I mean, that's when everything just flows. And the next passage, when the collective attain true, a collective that attains true joy only when, sorry, I'm trying to reword this in a way where it's like, because it says two people, but I'm going to reword this as the collective. So when the collective attains true joy, only then can we be sincere in trying to correct within ourselves. Our independence searches for the truth within ourselves to serve as inexhaustible wellspring, supporting each other and nourishing everyone who is a part of this planet. So, yeah, I mean, there it is right there. It's like we'll only be able to attain true joy and, ascend as a collective if we can tap into our true selves, our most authentic selves, because we're all gods and goddesses. We're all creators in ourselves, and tapping into that, that's when you really, um, begin your awakening and ascension process. It's like we all, there's this universe collective, but within ourselves, we have our own universes and our own collectives, and we're all creators, and we all have these abilities. And once we're able to tap into it and let go of wanting and just be and be what our purpose is here, um, that's really where it's at. So that was wild. Do you guys have anything to say to that, or do you have any questions? Someone said that's what Laura keeps telling everyone, is to stay in their love energy. Yeah. I love Laura. I had an amazing conversation with her after our interview. Or our interview was amazing too, by the way. If you haven't seen me and Laura Eisenhower's interview, definitely watch that on her channel, Laura Eisenhower. My movie. Someone's asking about the movie. So, like I said again, I was comedy mockumentary movie about Area 51. It's this wild journey that is coming out tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. So stay tuned for that. And it's going to be really funny. So, yeah. Like I said, we were just talking about our purposes. I just, my purpose has always been like inspiring and entertaining others, I guess. I mean, I think we all have a lot of different purposes, but I really feel like lately I've been building everything that, for a long time, I've been putting a lot of time and energy into things. Even when people were telling me like, oh, don't do this, like you're wasting your time, you're never going to make money from this or whatever. But I'm like, I don't care. Like I don't care if I'm not making money from what I love. I'm just going to do it anyway, because it's like, if it's not what's right for me, then why would I be doing it? And I really feel like that's the way everyone should look at things, do what you love, the money will follow. It's like, just don't worry about the money, just do what's right for you. And and it's like, if you're doing what's right for you, the universe will take care of you. It's going to come around, whether it's not like physically like you getting paid, but it's like, maybe like someone will come around to help you out at the right time, or it always just works out. I noticed that with myself. Like sometimes, there's been times in the past couple years where I thought, oh, like, I haven't booked a gig in a while. Like, I'm just gonna let it be, and I'm doing what's right for me. And then things come in. It's just, that's how it works. It's like, never have doubt. Like, just always have faith in the situation. I definitely say that with the collective. It's like, it seems like there's all these horrible things happening in the world right now, but really, it's like we're finally exposing these things. It's a lot of people were just so asleep with what was going on. It's like there was all these things that were going on under the surface, and we didn't really have, like, I think a lot of it has to do with having social media and these different before it was like the mainstream media, there's only like what was it, like 3 channels, like back in like 60s or whatever, and then it started seeming like there was more options. But I think it really came down to, like, once the internet became available, then we were all able to start sharing different things that are going on in the world that kind of went past what the powers that be wanted us to know. And obviously now that's getting to a point where it's scaring them, and they're deplatforming people. So yeah, it's really interesting time right now, but it's like they can't stop it. This awakening that's happening in the collective, it's just going to keep happening. And like I said before, I really like the term, it's like a river of light, and it can't be stopped. It's like, it's just happening, and so like I said, it's like these things, they're coming to the surface because they need to be exposed, and they need to be brought to the light, and that's what's important right now. So it's a good thing that this is all happening. And it's strange having this isolation period, but at the same time, I think everything happens for a reason. And I think these forces that seem like, you know, forces of darkness in the world are actually put there for a reason. These, seemingly evil people, maybe it was their purpose to come here and do what they're doing, because evolution doesn't happen without stress. And it takes, in some of us, they never went through anything bad before necessarily. Like, some people had very easy lives up until this point when all this was happening, and it really caused them to look within themselves and to look at what is going on in the world. Like, I think it's interesting because, like, some people, like me myself, like, I honestly haven't really felt like this period has been very hard on me at all. Like, I'm just gonna be perfectly honest, and like, I almost feel guilty saying that in a way, but like, I've been through a lot of hard. I've definitely gone through my dark night of the soul in my own life, and to me, like, I just, I don't know. I almost feel like things have gotten better for me during this period, and I think that's just because I think I had my own awakening period before this collective awakening period, so that I could help bring people through it, maybe. But yeah, that's just, I don't know. And I think that's why it's like, I definitely know that have stepped into my purpose, just because as soon as I started doing these things and, working and bringing everything together with my platform and all the things that I'm doing, it's like, I've just noticed a lot of synchronicities lately, the people coming into my life, and the it is just, it's like a path that's like opening up. And that's when you're on the right path, is when everything just falls together easily and you see synchronicities. And every time I look at the time, it's like 11:11 or 1:11. Yeah, someone said, same here. I was always a hermit, not much changed. I consider myself an ambivert. Like, I'm like half extrovert, half introvert. Because I actually do like Myers-Briggs personality junkie. I don't know if you've ever done that, but there's like 16 different personality types with this sort of method, and it all has to do with like your brain, the way you perceive things in the world. There's like these different combinations. So I'm an ENFP, which is extroverted, intuitive, feeling, perceiving. So that's the way I primarily function. And so ENFPs, out of all the 16 different personality types, we're the only ones that are literally half introverted and half extroverted. It's like my outside is extroverted, but I mean, really, like, I need half and half to really feel balanced. So it's like always a continual balance for me. And actually, my astrological um, thing, a lot of astrologers told me that my, like, I forget what it's called. Whatever sign is like the North Star kind of sign. It was like saying that my, I don't remember what it is, but like apparently my like official like goal in life is to achieve balance. This actually has the trigrams on it that I showed earlier, but this is a Tao symbol that represents that. So, yeah, I always need to be half extroverted, half introverted. So, actually, that's why for me, like, using this platform now that, I mean, I still do go outside a lot. I don't really follow the rules, but, like, like if I have like enough time to myself, and then I start feeling like, oh, I need extrovert energy, then I can just come on here and say hi to everyone. So it's pretty cool. I like it. Oh, someone said I'm an alchemizer. A lot of people have been saying that to me lately. I need to, I mean, I guess I do kind of understand that on an intuitive level, but I definitely want to look into that more. I don't really know. Yeah. I don't know. It's very interesting. My one of my favorite books is The Alchemist. I don't know if any of you have read that, but it's just a very poetic, beautiful book about this guy. He has these dreams about the pyramids, and then he ends up someone comes to him, and he's like this king, he says, and he like appears to him, and he's like, hey, you need to find this treasure. And so he goes on this whole mission to find this treasure that's supposedly buried next to the pyramids. But then he realizes, I can't give away the end. I can't give away the end. But it is an amazing book. And what's really weird about that book is I actually had a dream about being inside the pyramids. And then a little while after, that book came around me. I don't know, I think I just kept seeing it everywhere and I felt like I wanted to read it. So I read the book, and the book was about someone trying to find their treasure at the pyramids, you know? So I read the book, and then right after I ended up going to Egypt. It was like a really weird, it's like things like that always kind of happen to me in life. It's weird how things like flow in life. So yeah, I don't remember where I was going with that. Oh, The Alchemist. Yeah, that's what the book is called, The Alchemist. That's why I say that. Yeah, definitely need to get that book. And like I said with this show, I'm going to be doing. Oh, someone said it's easy to find thrift stores. You know, actually, one of my favorite places to go is in book thrift stores because there's just so many. It's strange because that's how you can find like older books that like it's like usually when you go to like Barnes Nobles or something, it's all like the newer releases. Sometimes it's cool to just find like old like random books that probably were published like 100 years ago or something, and no one really knows about. That's always interesting. Actually, the last bookstore in LA is like my new favorite place. I don't know if any of you have been there, but man, it is an incredible place. It's like actually it's some shots from there in my intro that I have at the beginning of every episode, but man, it's like this secondhand bookstore, but then it's also it also has like newer books there too, but it's like it has this like library labyrinth that's upstairs, and so like the whole bottom floor there's like these huge pillars. It almost looks like what you would think the Library of Alexandria would look like on the lower level. There's these big like Greek pillars, and a whole lower floor area with like just the usual like fiction books, and that whole area. And then you go upstairs and there's literally a labyrinth that you walk through, and it's like it's hard to explain. It's just like all these bookshelves are created in a way where it's like you're literally going through a labyrinth and you get like lost in it. And like there's these different art installations made out of books, and it's really really cool. I just got some really cool stuff there recently while filming my intro. But right now I'm in the middle of reading a book on Cleopatra's biography, and an upcoming episode I want to do on here, which I believe would be a live episode. It might be, I might just film it before and edit it just so that it's like, very well put together, or I might do it live. But I want to, for my first like book review episode is, I want to do sort of an episode on powerful women in history. So books on powerful women in history. So like right now I'm reading Cleopatra's biography, but I've read like some like fictional was it historical fiction on different women in history that were just really incredible. Historical fiction is really cool because it puts you in the time and the place, and usually the author, they'll research it so that everything in the story is very much like it would have been back then. So but then it reads like a novel. So I've read some books like that recently, and then there's like some famous like archetypal ancient stories that have been rewritten from normally they're like very well-known archetypal stories in history that the authors decide to rewrite from the female's point of view instead of like the main guy in the story's point of view. And I'm not going to get into which ones those are yet because I want to go into that on the show, but man, there's some really incredible ones that I've read lately that are on two very popular archetypal stories in history, and I'm going to be doing a show on that. So I'm really excited about that. Memoirs of Geisha. I'll have to check that out. Yeah, historical fiction is just an awesome genre. I'm just like really always interested in history, no matter what time. It's just really fun to like see like the way people were in different times and how they relate to now. Like, I guess I'll get more into that in the episode I'm talking about because I'm saying too much that's gonna go into it now. But yeah, does anyone have any questions? I'm probably gonna sign off here soon. Oh my god, I can't believe I've been talking for almost an hour and a half now. When I first started this, I was like, man, I don't know if I feel like talking for very long right now. I've been doing so much, man. It's just been crazy with the way everything's coming together lately. It's been intense. I think everyone's feeling that. Everyone I've talked to lately, I think it's kind of a collective thing right now. But yeah. Anyone have any questions? My phone's blowing up right now. If there's no questions, I will get off of here. I know there's a bit of a lag, so I'll wait. All right, guys. Well, I guess I'm going to sign off. And yeah, you said it, Riley. We all got to focus on our passion projects. That's where it's at. Oh, that's something I forgot to say earlier. Passion. I mean, that's what it's all about. That's the word I was trying to think of earlier. When it comes to purpose, it's your passion. Whatever. That's what it comes down to with finding your purpose. It's always about what are you most passionate about. Oh, someone asked me what my thoughts are on December 21st, 20. You know, a lot of people think that that's what the actual Mayan calendar in time shift date, not in times, but consciousness shift date was. That would make a lot of sense. Would make a lot of sense. Um, Upcoming events in LA. You know, I was supposed to be at a conference this weekend, actually, here in LA. It was called the Spiritual Living Expo, but now we are in a full lockdown. I'm not really sure what that means because you know, I went to the store and stuff today and everyone's out and about, so I thought we were already in a full lockdown. I don't even know what's going on with all this. So I think it's just been going on for so long, no one even really cares anymore. So yeah. Renee says I'm passionate about UFOs, heavy metal, and weed. I'm definitely passionate about UFOs. For me, not so much heavy metal, more like classic rock, I guess. I'm really into like 70s rock, like Led Zeppelin or Aerosmith. I don't know. Everyone's always like, why? I'm like, I don't know. To me, like, I just love electric guitar sounds from that era, just like so sexy to me. And the lyrics and everything. So, yeah. And weed, I actually, you know, it's funny. I used to smoke weed, you know, for years, a lot, and I got super addicted to blunts. And then around Christmas time last year, I just quit cold turkey. And, you know, I used to smoke all the time because I thought it was helping my anxiety. And then quit smoking weed cold turkey, and I realized that smoking weed was actually causing anxiety for me. I never thought I would stop smoking weed, but yeah, and like ever since then, it's like I like every once in a while someone will be like, "Oh, hey, you want a hit?" And then I'll like go to take one. I'm like, I don't like it anymore. It's really weird. I actually, you know, yeah. So yeah, but you know, whatever's, you know, I know it helps a lot of people that have different medical issues. I think actually, as a girl, actually, at a certain time every month, I do need it sometimes. So I will say that. But you know, I just it's crazy to me. I realized that it was causing anxiety for me, so I feel much better without it. Definitely. Someone said, "How many more hours do you need to monetize?" I need about 700 more, but could really care less for the money. Um, yeah, so I definitely have way more than enough subscribers, but for some reason, it's telling me I only have like I think now it's 600 and something watch hours, which doesn't make any sense to. So I need 4,000 watch hours to get monetized, and that doesn't make any sense to me because like all my shows have had like over 1,000 views mostly so far, so that doesn't make any sense. I don't understand that. But unless people are just coming on and watching for like 15 minutes and then leaving. So yeah, I don't know. I don't know what's going on. I feel like YouTube's lying. But it's whatever because I'm funding everything I'm doing with my shaman spears. So yeah. Yeah, so indica definitely is the mind one. Yeah, I can't do that anymore. And I realize it's like I used to, smoke weed all the time and then not smoking and then smoking it now and examining it. It's weird to me because it's like you get all these ideas, but then you don't remember them. So it's like it makes you feel super creative, but then I guess if you're writing it down at the time, then you remember it. But yeah, so yeah, I'm gonna go. And I guess I'll put some like links in and I'll start posting the premieres. I'm not sure what it's called. The I don't know. I'll schedule the premieres for all the interviews I have coming up. That way you guys know when they're coming and that should be good. Yeah, I definitely feel a shift as well. All right, you guys, have a good night. See ya again soon. I'm not sure when I'll be doing a live soon again, but like I said, tomorrow, 7 p.m. Check out my movie. Make sure you're there because that's gonna be really cool. And thanks for reminding me. I'm gonna schedule that now. All right, night, guys. See you tomorrow.